Hi everyone. Today we are going to start the second module of income tax, income under the head salary. And module 2 deals with computation of income under different heads. And this module concentrated on salary head. Okay, in the first class we have studied what do you mean by gross total income or GTA. GTA includes income computed under 5 heads, and the first head is income under the head salary. So before going to the topic, first I introduce the syllabus. Computation of income under different heads: salaries, allowances, perquisites, profit in lieu of salary, gratuity and pension. These are the topics covered under this head. Computation of income under different heads and the allowances, that is detailed. You will study in detail in forthcoming classes. Then before next time, what do you mean by salary? You may be heard about salary, wages, allowances and all. What is the meaning of salary? Salary is any remuneration paid to an employee by his employer for the services rendered. What do you mean by salary? Any remuneration, whatever name called, it may be salary, it may be wages, it may be paid weekly, daily or monthly, any way, any name, any remuneration paid by an employer to whom? To an employee for what? For the services, for his services rendered in the organization. Okay, that is termed as salary. Next is explain about definition of the head salary, not salary definition. Definition of the head salary. That means what are the incomes to be included under salary head. This is explained in section 15. According to section 15, the following are the incomes taxable under salary head. First one is salary due from an employer or former employer to an employee during the previous year, whether paid or not. In this case, salary paid or not, it doesn't matter. If the salary is due, it is taxable under salary head. Due from whom? Due from the employer or former employer. Former employer means under whom the worker, the employee works in the past, in the same previous year. In the same previous year, if the employee working under two employer and the past employer is known as former employer, or the salary received or remuneration received from an organization in which the employee works in the past. Okay, that is former employer. So any salary due from an employer, whether paid or not. What do you mean by due? Which is the due date? It depends. Okay, some organizations, the due date for salary may be the last day of the month. For example, salary of March will due on March 31st. Salary of June will due on June 30th, etc. In some organization, salary may due on the first day of next month. That means salary of March may due on April 1st. Salary of June due on July 1st. So it depends on the policies of the organization. Anyway, if the salary is due, it is taxable whether paid or not. Second one is an opposite. Salary paid to an employee by his employer, former employer or present employer during the previous year, though not due. Even though salary due date is not due, but the payment is made. It is called advance salary. For example, my July month salary may be due on July 31st, but if I received salary for the month of July, it is salary head. This is normal salary. This is advance salary. And the third category is arrears of salary. That means any salary due but not paid by the employer in the past. That is called arrears of salary. Salary due but not paid during any other past years, but it is received during the previous year. It is taxable under the head salary if it is not taxed according to due basis. I have already taught if the salary is due, it will be taxable. So, if these arrears are not taxed in the past according to the due basis, then the arrears received also taxable when it is received. So, there are under the head salary, the following three incomes will be taxable. First one is the ordinary salary, that is due whether paid or not. Second one is paid though not due. Paid but not due, that is called the advance salary. Third one is arrears of salary received during the previous year. These are the major incomes taxable under salary head. This is the definition of the head given by section 15. Then next, very important topic for 4 marks university question. 4 marks university question. Characteristics or features or nature of salary income. What are the features of salary income? We can explain one by one. The first and the very important point is employer-employee relationship. That is very important to be noted under the head salary. In order to make an income taxable under the head salary, the relationship between the payer of income and the receiver of income must be that of employer and employee. In order to make an income taxable under the head salaries, the relationship that exists between the payer of income and the receiver of income must be that of employer and employee. Only the remuneration received under this relationship is taxable under salary head. That means any income received from a person other than employer, even though it is termed as salary or wages, it is not taxable under salary head. Clear? Any income received from a person with other than employer, even though it is called salary, it is not taxable under salary head. For example, I am working in this institution and every month I receive the salary from my employer or the management. Okay, it is included in my salary head. Why? I am taxable under the head salary for that amount. Why? There is employer-employee relationship between the management and me. Okay, so it is taxable under my salary head. But in the same capacity as a teacher, I went for university paper valuation and received rupees 3,000 from the university, Calicut University. Is it included in my salary head? No. Why? There is no employer-employee relationship between myself and the university. Am I a direct employee of university? No. So it is not included under my salary head. I think it is clear to you. Okay. Then another, the salary or remuneration received by a partner from a partnership firm. Okay. Is it taxable in the salary head? No. Why? There is no partner is not an employee of the firm. He is the owner of the partnership firm, isn't it? So the salary received by the partner is not taxable under salary head. Then again, MP, member of parliament, or MLA, legislative assembly, member of legislative assembly. Are they the servants of the government? No, they are the members of the government. So any salary remuneration received by MP or MLA are not taxable under the head salary because there is no employer-employee relationship between the MP I am working in 3 institutions. First, from April to June, I was in A Limited. From April, our previous year starts from April 1st to March 31st of the next year. So, April to June, I am working in A Limited. And from June to till now, March 31st, previous year March 31st, I am working in B Limited. So, while calculating my salary income, I have income under from two employers. Okay, from A Limited and B Limited. Then what will we do? It is taxable under salary if an employee receives salary from more than one employer during the same previous year, or to be taken for calculating his salary income. That is the salary received from both A Limited and B Limited should be included in his salary income. Okay, while calculating the salary income of the assessee, both the total salary received from both the employers should be taken. That is another one. Clear? The third one is salary from present, past or prospective employer. Salary from present employer, that you all know. Now I am working in B Limited. Salary received from B Limited is taxable under the head salary. The next is the past employer. Past employer, and for the definition you have seen, salary due from an employer or former employer is taxable under this head. So, if it is received from the past employer, it is also taxable. Then I was working with B Limited. Pension received from B Limited is taxable under salary head because that pension amount is received from my former employer, past employer. So it is taxable under salary head. The third one is prospective employer. What do you mean by prospective employer? If it is received from a future employer. So when it comes, salary received from the future employer. Future means I am going to work in that institution. Like not still working, not work, but I am going to work in C Limited from the next year onwards. I am intending to go to C Limited next year onwards. That is known as prospective employer or future employer. Suppose I am the key person in this institution. I am the key person. Key means an important person in this institution. And only because of my efforts and talents, this institution got fame or reputation. So, a competing firm, suppose it is C Limited, hiring me by making me 2 months advance salary. They booked my seat there. From next academic year June onwards, you must be in our institution, and as a guarantee for your work, we will pay you 2 months salary in advance. Okay, so that salary received from C Limited. From whom I received the salary? C Limited is my present employer? No. Is it my past employer? No. But it is the future or prospective employer where I am going to work. Okay. So it is also taxable under salary head. If an employee receives salary from present, past or received or due on BVT. Likewise, in India or America, anywhere where the service is rendered, there may salary due. The next is that we have already explained, received from persons other than employer. Any salary, wage or remuneration received from a person other than employer is not taxable under salary head, but it is taxable under income from other sources. For example, university remuneration received by a teacher. Okay, so there is no employer-employee relationship, so not taxable under salary head, it is taxable under income from other sources. That we have already explained. Second one, already explained, salary of a partner. What I told earlier, it is not taxable under salary head because partner is not an employee of the partnership firm. It is taxable under his business or profession. Okay. The next is salary of MP or MLA. They have already seen. MP or MLA, they are all the members of the government and not the servants of the government. So it is not taxable under salary head. The next is family pension. What do you mean by pension? Pension is the retirement benefit received by an employee from his former employer. Okay. So pension received by an employee is taxable under salary head because it is received for the services rendered in the past. So the pension received by an employee is taxable under salary head, but here family pension, that means after the death of the employee, that pension is received to his widow, wife or his legal heirs, eldest son or other legal heirs. That is called the family pension. Family pension received by a widow or legal heirs of the deceased employee is not taxable under salary head. It is taxable under income from other sources. Why? There is no employer-employee relationship between the widow and the employer. Okay, so it is not taxable under salary head. The next is salary received by UNO employees. Any salary, wage or remuneration received by United Nations organizations employees are completely exempted from income tax. They are not only taxable under salary head but also other heads. It is completely exempted from income tax. Not salary, wage, allowances, perquisites and other benefits received by UNO employees are completely exempted from income tax. Not liable to pay income tax on such income. Okay. The next, payment received after cessation of employment. Cessation means stop. When an employee ceased to be an employee of the organization, he put their services stopped. Okay. So after the cessation of employment, any compensation or amount received from the employer is also taxable under the header salary. It is taxable. Why? It is received for the services rendered in the past. It is received by an employee for the services rendered in the past. So it is taxable under salary head. The next step, deduction from salary by an employer. In some cases, a salaried employee may get salary from the employer after making some deductions. Deductions in the sense, it may be provident fund. Some portion may be deducted for provident fund or some amount may be deducted as tax deducted at the source, TDS. Here deductions may be for TDS, provident fund contribution or LIC of the employee, etc. ESI of employee. Employee state insurance, ESI fund, provident fund, gratuity or tax deducted at the source. If an employer pays salary to the employee after making these deductions, That amount is called net salary. If an employee receives a salary after making some deductions as TDS, Provident Funder, ESI Funder, or any interest on loan given by the employer, etc., that amount is called net salary. If an employee receives net salary, we should take the gross salary for salary computation. That is the rule. If a net salary received by an employee is given in the problem, you should take the gross salary. That means net salary plus this deduction, this deduction, this deduction. The balance is called a gross salary. Okay. So the gross salary will be taxable and taken for computation of salary income. Then 12th point, taxability of salary. Taxability. In the first case I told, when defining the head, if salary due, it is taxable, whether paid or not. Salary received or paid, it doesn't matter. If it is due, it is taxable. But in the second point I told you, if salary paid, it will be taxable, whether due or not. Due doesn't matter, but if it is paid, it is taxable. So, how salary is taxable? Due basis or receipt basis? In the first case I thought salary is on due basis. Second case I thought salary is on receipt basis. It is received, though not due, is taxable. So, how salary is taxable? Whether due basis or receipt basis? Is it a question? Then how? The rule is that salary is taxable either due basis or receipt basis, which comes first. Okay, salary is taxable under either due basis or receipt basis, which comes first. That means if it is due, it is taxable on due basis. If it is received, then it is taxable under receipt basis. Which comes first will be the taxability of salary. Okay. Then next 13th point, previous year for salaries. Previous years for that means salary income, the salary received by an employee from employer during the previous year. Okay, so what is the previous year for salary? Previous year for salary is same as our previous year. That is 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020. That the same previous year will be applicable for salary income also. So the last item is salary grade or scale of pay. In some organizations may provide salary grade. Sometimes it may be called your basic salary is 20,000 or your basic salary is 10,000. That is salary. But in some cases, salary grade in government services and while preparing for PSC, while you apply for a PSC, you may see the salary grade is like this. Okay, so salary grade or scale of pay means the annual increment. For example, if it is given for an application is 8,500, 9,500. That means this is known as scale of pay or salary grade, and it means this is the basic salary. The first one denotes the basic salary allowed to the employee, and the last one means, for example, 11,500. It means the maximum salary allowed to the employee under this post. If it is scale of pay, the maximum pay allowed to an employee under this post is known as, this is the last one. And the middle term means annual increment. What is it? Annual increment. So, if Mr. A is appointed to this post, his first year salary rate while computing the gross salary income. So this is a basic introduction about the salary income. A simple meaning of salary income and the salary head. What are the incomes covered under salary head? Then next important, very important 4 marks question, characteristics or nature of salary income. And one important point you should keep in mind is that there must be employer-employee relationship for making an income taxable under this head. So in a problem, if one sentence